file is. Now let's move on to slightly little advanced. So now what we want to do is, yeah, so let me, of course, remove this package. We will remove this as well. I think let's keep this package actually. I will just comment it so that you can use it in future. So now the next one I want to do is, let me close this .style file as well. Now let me open a new file called hello.sty. Just now I have prepared it. This contains the same thing. Now you see that, okay, this has the same work. So I don't want to do that. Let's quickly move to the, actually what I wanted to show was, I wanted to show an if statement and then printing it accordingly. Let me share that. For example, here, let me create a new document over here. Now, let me save this file as, let's say, suppose an example if.tech, not .tech, .sty. Sorry. Example if.sty. That makes this file as a style file. Remember, any style file will needs text format, which expect the language to be given, and any text file will also need provides, not class, provides package, which the name is obviously, I'll give its example if itself. Now let's use that package. Use packaged example if. Okay. Now if I compile this, that should not give any error, and that works fine. Okay. Now what I want to do is, in this package, in the LATEX 2E, in the LATEX language, we have if statements that we can work with. So I think Pathman sir has explained what about if then package that gives you an if statement to evaluate something, and accordingly you can plot a clock, etc. Right? He has existed. So LATEX is also offering something called a Boolean variables as well, and that's also acting like an if statement itself. Okay. Now that's what we are going to do it here. Let's say we want to have an example here. We say that new if. So this is the way that you define an if statement. Sorry, this is the way that you set a Boolean expression. Now this new if has to be defined as, always it has to start with /if, and then you want to define whatever they will. Now I want to use this if condition only inside this style document. So I will use a decorator called @symbol. It's not that actually you have to use it, but it's a convention in the languages itself. Any variable that you're going to use it privately inside your document, inside your package, you prefix it with a standard notation. So here in standard notation is @, meaning this @ will not run inside your text, whereas it runs only inside the style file itself. That's in that way you're actually is limiting your global variable that you're actually is letting the text file to access. In other words, that makes the document to be faster compilation, etc. So those such advantages are there. So what I'm going to do here is, let's just say that /if, let me say simply faculty. So that's it. What is this is doing? So what is this is doing is, it is just acting like a switch. So if I write /if at faculty, and what does that mean is, it is checking whether the given faculty is a faculty or not. Or in other words, it is first sets the faculty as faculty. That's it. Then later what we can do is, we can change the faculty's values to true or false depending on it. So this is by default, what does it do is, it's also defined new two new commands called faculty true, meaning if /if at faculty, right? So /faculty true, and then it also gives you a slash. I think at is also there. Okay, so slash at faculty true, and it also gives you slash at faculty false. So these are the two switches. It's actually it's been made it available over here. Actually, to prove it to you, what I will do is, if um, the faculty, instead of actually writing it slash faculty true, if at faculty, which means if the faculty is been true, the faculty option is true, then we'll define a command called uh, let's say we'll define the same command called greeting, but this time what we will do is we'll greet it like welcome faculty. And then else will define the same greeting command as welcome, let's say non-faculty. It's a little funny, but it's okay. You got the point, right? Okay. Finally, the if statement also has to be entered. The way you end the if statement in the LaTeX is something called /fi. Okay. So this is I think a lot to take in. Careful. What we have doing here is, if this is a faculty, it's a switch. So by default, it is true. If it is true, then the greeting will be either always actually is welcome faculty. Now let's first of all save this. Right now, I don't take any options over here, so I can leave the process option all of them, and I can uncomment this class greeting, which is defined inside this example if, and then compile this. Now, if I compile this, you see that welcome non-faculty. Oh, that's surprising. That's because it's by default actually is defined as a false or what? Okay, let's not take that option. What we will do is we will pass faculty option over here, and then we will declare that option faculty. Whenever the faculty option has been passed, what we will do is we will make the faculty to be true. That's the idea. And hence, I think it should work now. Unknown option. Oh, I think I forgot to process the option as I have to do it. As I said, the options are actually is not been passed, not been processed unless you explicitly say to process it. Yeah. Now you see what happened here is I passed a switch called faculty over here. I'm sorry for this. I passed a switch called faculty over here, and that fact, if the faculty has been passed, then I say that you have to make this faculty value as true value. If the faculty value is true, remember I have defined my greeting to call as welcome faculty. If the faculty value is false, meaning if the faculty is not been passed, then if he is not a faculty, then we have to welcome the non-faculty. Hopefully this is okay. Is that okay? Should I give 1 or 2 minutes to think about it? See, this is normal. We define a new if here, and then we declare an option. Once the option is faculty, what we do is we redefine the faculty value to be true. If that is not, then by default it's false. Okay, that's the idea. So we keep that as it is. Hopefully that's okay.
So what is after welcome non-faculty? 17th line slash.
Which one, ma'am?
Fi. Last 17th line.
Right?
For what purpose we are closing?
Slash Fi, right? Because we have started with
yes.
if. Started with if, and then if has to have an end if, which is slash Fi in LaTeX.
Okay.
That's it. Actually, this is enough because using this, everything else is actually coming live. In fact, I also wanted to show one more thing in the same thing itself. That's called defining a new variable for a LaTeX. So any variable in the LaTeX is actually is defined something called /count. And then,
So
yes, ma'am.
now we are using the if statement. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we want in a table students getting less than first class, like the 60 less than 60%. We want to highlight with color state. We want to color it. Is this if statement, will it work out over there?
Yes, ma'am. Same thing.
Okay, thank
Will
you.
work. Yes. Actually, you can make it as a project and then work
That's
on
it.
that as well. Like
Okay.
you define a student name, for example, here.
Student and the marks obtained.
Let's say, suppose, let's say we call it as a student. That's the command that we give. And then we'll say that his mark is 40. That's all
40.
we have here.
Okay, yeah.
Now we can make the command available here /new command, and then we'll call that values here and then redefine it. That's the way actually you go about it. For example, here we say that student mark is initially empty, or it takes one option here. That's the idea.
Okay.
Then when you take the student, and then we redefine the /student mark with this will take one option, right? So we'll call this one option, and we'll take that one option over here. So the student marks will be redefined over here. Now this will give you the mark over there. And that being said, you can I think Fatima sir has discussed, right? Like for example, if num /student mark, you can define it. That's what I'm meaning.
Yes. Okay.
If suppose this is greater than let's say suppose 30 or 35,
30. Okay.
then we can do something. If else, we can do something else over here. And this if statement, you can renew command. That's the way it works. What it does is you define a student over here, and then it takes an option. It just renew commands over here, right? So anytime you want what you want to print, that's the big deal. And the way actually you renew command over here, for example, here if you renew command the student to be, remember the correct, student, and with the first option it will be taking, right? It will say let's say suppose fail, like this. And then you can say that remaining things actually you can fill it up. I think by itself it should work, or I think I may be missing. Not sure. Somewhere I'm missing something. Hopefully you got the idea, right? What you have to do is simply define a new switch over there. You just take it as a 0, for example, and then you redefine that number to the number what has been collected from the student. Compare that number using an if-then package. I think I just have to install the package called require the package called if-then. Bring them in, and then showcase it that if the student is showing less than 75, how the student has to be printed. If the student is scoring greater than 75, how the student has to be printed. It's not just only fail. It can make it like, as you said, you can make it as color as red or whatever you want.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So that's all about this basic things. As I was saying, anytime you want to define a new variable which you wanted to update it later. For example, you have a number 1, number 2, number 3 as the values. Now you want to advance it to by 4, 5, 6 later in the phase. Then the way you define it, the slash count, and this is the variable name. So any name you wanted, actually you can give it. For example, this first name, that's the name, and then you can define it as an empty string or whatever you want. Okay, that's it. Or probably name David. And then the slash count actually gives you the value has been given by slash the and then the first name itself. Hopefully I can do this slash the first name. Then you get the value. So here you see, I think the problem is with the quotes here. I think it can take only the integer value. Should I not give the space? What am I missing? Okay. Slash count. Oh, sorry. You just have to define the variable. Then later, what you can do is you can assign the variable to something else. So the first name equal to, let's say, suppose David. Just inside the text. No, I think it should be something like this. Now it should work. Seems like somewhere else I made a mistake.
David sir, I will mute all. You sir unmute yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Because some disturbance are. Now you unmute yourself, sir. David sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure why it's. I will figure out and let you know in the next session. Okay. It does takes only the integer numbers, I guess, because that's what it's supposed to be doing. Because it's not just a variable here; it's a count. That means it should be operable. So any operable, any operable digits will be taken care. So here I should not be actually giving as a number. For example, let's say suppose the first number, you define it as a variable, and then you assign the value for the first number as 2 here, and then you call it anywhere the value of the number using slash the and then first number. That's the idea. The idea is this. So here you see the greeting faculty with the number over there. Okay, that's it. Now with this, it's not just only this assigning and calling it back. You can also do it with something like this. So for example, if I want to advance, meaning if I want to increase the value of the first number, which means the slash advance slash first number, by what? Let's say by, I want to increase it by 3, meaning I want to increase it from 2 to 5, right? So now this time, what happened here is the first number was earlier 2. Now it has actually, it should be made it as 5. Now if I compile this and see, now you see that the value of the number has been changed to 5. Now this is important because sometimes in your loop, what you are actually is running on, probably you might want to create a new counter, and then you want to increase it every time when you are completion of the loop, and then you want to do some jobs out of it. That's it. And you also wanted to do something like this. Probably you want to calculate sum of 2 numbers, and I wanted to print it. Why don't we do that? For example, what I want to do was I wanted to write sum, and then probably these two numbers, let's say, or let's say something like this. Yeah, actually sum, and then 30 and then 40, for example. Now these two actually is having two numbers, right? So let's create a new command called /sum, and that's going to take two arguments. And what that's going to do is, let me first define new variables to hold them. Okay, so let's say suppose new count, we define the first number, the first number FNO, first number, and then we also define a new count called the second number SNO, for example. Now the two arguments that whatever we have taken, we will redefine the first number by the first one, and also we will redefine, or in other words, we'll update it with the second number. So what's happened over here is the FNO, whatever we have collected, that has been updated by the first number what we supplied over here, which means the FNO is right now 30. Now the SNO, whatever we have collected, is the second number over here, which is 40, and that will be collected over there. So the /sum is actually is just assigning these two. That's all it is. Okay. Not just that. What I also wanted to do was, once we did this, now as we know that we can advance the FNO, the value over here, right? Actually, no, we can't do all this stuff over here because it's been called inside this. So what I want to do is, we'll just define two new commands. Actually, that's getting too much, I guess. It's a slash at F1, and we will perform the actions over here. Or what we will do is, yeah, I think what we will do is, we'll not do this way, in this way. Simply, what we will do is, we will put it as a show answer command, and then inside that we will pass these two. The first number will pass and the second number also will pass. Here what we will do is, we will define a new command called @show answer. Remember, anything I want to do just only inside this type file, I use the show, and I use the ampersand symbol, not ampersand symbol, that @ before it. So here I want to do a calculation which will happen inside the style file. Remember, this will not happen inside this place. That's the idea. So show answer will do one thing. First, it will set the first number and second number, and later what it will do is, it will take the it will advance the first number by the second number. That means it will just add the first number with the second number, and therefore the first number now will hold the value of the second number as well after summing up. So what we can do right now here is, now we can print the /fn. Hopefully this should work. Yeah, I think just give me a minute. We are doing one thing wrong. It's just because we can't do the computation inside this document. We have to do it inside the preamble. That's the idea. So the way we go with that is, this is correct, this is correct. And then the assigning and these things, we can't do it here. How do we detach it?
David sir,
Yes, sir.
your voice is not audible.
No, sir, I wasn't talking. I was.
Oh, okay.
According to me, it should work. Should answer. All right, I think you got the point, huh? So all that you have to do is just take these two numbers and add one number by the other number, just actually advance it. That's all you have to do. Okay. Meaning, if I put it inside the sum over here, it will work, but why it's not working here? All right, I'll figure it out again. I'm very sorry for this.
What happened, David? Any problem?
No, sir. Actually, one comment was not working, so that's all.
Okay, okay.
All right, so we'll do this a little later. Maybe in the next session, I'll promise that I will do this job. And right now, we'll comment this. Okay, that's it. So, long story short, what we are actually trying to do was anything what we want to do it inside the document, we will not be able to do it. Meaning anything we want to do, the computations that what you want to do it inside the document will not be able to do it. What we have to do is we have to detach it from the document and then we'll have to put it inside the preamble. In other words, we'll have to do it explicitly once the inside the style file. And then we have to compute it and we want to show only the output over there. That's the idea. So all that I was trying to do over here was these things are actually fine, but the arrangement over here, whatever we were doing is also is fine, but we can't print the number over here. I think this computation actually is okay. This is okay. Now the slash sum will show this, and then probably slash the. I'm not sure. It's not working. I'm sorry. You can't use macro parameter character hash in math mode. Okay, I will check it out.
Sir,
Sorry for that. Tell me, madam.
in the next STY file, do we have to slash one? There are two slash one.
Slash
Should we replace by slash two?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
Here, no?
yes. Sir.
Yeah, actually, that's correct. But even though it's not going to work because that's just a hash.
But actually, we should give slash two, isn't it, sir? Because slash one takes a 30, slash two takes a 40. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
Okay.
Just give me a minute. Anyway, I'm very sorry for this. We will deal with this problem a little later. Right now, we'll comment all of it. But the idea is, as I said, you have to detach it from the document and then bring it to the line. That's it. Now, as I did here over here, this 5 has been summed up because it's everything has been done exactly explicitly inside the style file itself. That's it. Okay, so let me close this and probably I will start with one more small assignment. So here, what I want to do was, let me clear out all of them. And I'll comment this as of now and compile this and show you what is right now I have. So what I have here is I have a meeting minutes file over there. All that I want to do was I wanted to show the meeting members, and I also wanted to show the absentees, and I also wanted to show if there is anybody else present in the meeting or not. That's the way actually I want to present. So for that, I have a meeting minutes style file written over there. If you open that file over there, you see that the commands what I have written here is simply the neat text format and then the package name, that is meeting minutes. That's what is here. Now I also have a option here called show absent. And what is that going to do is it's going to show the absentees if you are actually asking it to show. Otherwise, it is not going to show the absentees. That's the idea. This actually is continuation of the previous project. So for that process, what we have done, we have created a new Boolean variable called show absent or not. Now, whenever the option has been given as a slash show absent, then we call that show absent and then make them as true. That's it. So the value of this is going to be made it true. And we deal with that a little later. What we do is, suppose if the show absent has been true, that meaning if the show absent option is being passed over here, we are going to define a command called new absentees, set absentees. And sorry, here actually we are, remember, anything you do it inside the if statement for any option, you also have to define it earlier and then make it as at least empty or put relax or something. Okay, something should be done. So now it's been empty, and what we want to do was we define a new command called set absentees. It takes one argument, and it's going to redefine the show absentees command to the way actually it has to be shown. So here over here, the absentees is actually absentees, and then what has been actually is got it over here. Suppose it's not, else then the set absentees actually is to be empty set. That's it. It just happens. Correct. Okay. Now we also wanted actually the print minutes is the last comment. What we will do is in the print minute. In the print minutes, we wanted to show all of them. That's all we are doing it. So this is just a boiler code. Just because we have already done it, actually I have kept it as it is because from the previous project. So it's actually coming from there directly. So here what we wanted to do was we simply wanted to first of all set absentees. Remember the set absentees were defined in the command over here. See that set absentees is defined either if it is true or false, it's been actually defined. So the set absentees take one optional argument. In fact, here also I have to give one optional argument.
Participant, please mute yourself. Don't be a disturbance to others.
So here is that. So set absentees. Here, let's say suppose we say that Raja and Rani are two people absent, and then we want to simply print minutes. Remember, the print minutes has been defined over here. Now we'll improvise it a little bit, but for that right now, we'll make that print minute just like this. Now what that's going to do? It's going to show that absentees is Raja and Rani. Now it's not just only this much you can do it. You can do a lot of things. In fact, so right now what I have done here is it just made it just set absentees. Now we can also make the set members function, and then we will define it. Let's say suppose the members of the meetings are David, and then let's say Dhansekar, let's say Parthiban, etc. Now we wanted to actually print it over here before the absentees as well. How do we do that? Remember, set absentees has been set members has to be done. Now remember, this set absentees was being depending on whether you want to show the absent or not. Let's say, let me comment this first. Suppose if you don't pass this option called show absent, which we don't want to do it most of the time, then the present minutes doesn't have that absentees at all. It just vanishes. So that's the huge part of this code. So all that it does is once the option show absent is not present, it makes the default option, which is false. Therefore, it doesn't run here. And therefore, if you come to this place, if this absentees is not true, which means if there is no absentees, then sorry, if there is an absentees, then you present the you show the absentees. Otherwise, you see that set absentees actually becomes void. So we don't even set the absentees at all. So that's the way. And over here, I have actually written comment called /so absentees. That's the responsible for how the absentees has to be shown. So here the absentee has been shown as with the prefix of absentees and this. Okay, fine. Now, in fact, we can define a new command called show at members. In fact, or members present probably members present, and we can define it before. So /new comment /so at members. Remember, this doesn't have any statement or something, so it's going to just simply say control B of members. I'm sorry, and then it's going to take an argument, and it's going to just print that argument. Okay, that's it. Now here we have this. Now what we have to do is, remember here set absentees like we have a set members as well. Now all that we have to do is we have to define a new command called /set members. All that it does is it takes one optional argument, one mandatory argument, and all that it does is it just puts it inside this show members of one. That's all. Sorry, hash. So it just puts it inside this, and after putting inside, it's going to show the members in this format, and therefore it's going to available over here. So members. Hold on. Let me. Yeah. Show members present, and then the members present is going to be available over here, and hence I will get the value for that. Let me compile this and see. Yeah, you see the members. I think it's spelling mistake for members. Members. Yeah. Is that okay? Fine. So the members has been listed, and then the absentees, if we ask them to show, then it will show. For example, so absent, it will show. All. Now we can also create a new environment based on this, and then put all the rest of them like this itself, right? For example, let's say suppose we'll write meeting minutes itself is the environment that we want to do it, and from there we can do all of them. For example, I want to do it simply in the meeting minutes. Once I set the members and once I set the absentees, it has to give me everything what I want. Okay, so what I will do is I will simply grab some random text in the Google and then put it over there. So this is the meeting minute, for example. Remember, this has not been defined yet. So let's define this new environment here. Instead of this print minutes, now what we can do is, let me define a new environment. And that environment name is meeting minutes. And inside this meeting minutes, all that I want to do was, I don't want to do anything at the end of this environment, but before the environment itself, I just wanted to show the members, and then I want to leave the other one. So what we can do is, now we can cancel this out. In fact, I comment this in for the future reference, but now you can take this off. I have incorporated everything in this itself, right? So now we can compile this, and that shows an error. What was that error? Environment meeting minutes is undefined. Did we minutes spelling mistake? I guess should be correctly written. Meeting minutes. Meeting minutes. Perfect. Now you see what had happened here is it just takes an environment. All that I have done here is I put it inside this new environment called meeting minutes. Before even I start the environment, I show the members present. I show the absentees as well. Let's put a line break as well so that it will bring it to the down. Okay, that's it. Yeah, fine. Now at the end of it, probably you also wanted to do slash begin flush. Right, and then you want to probably put a space, let's say suppose 2 centimeter, and then let's say we'll write simply the signature. Okay, and that's my signature. Now this is just simply an introduction to what you can do it with this. You can always have the members list in the CSV file or Excel file and bring it inside using data tool. And you can also have an attendance sheet, for example, with the members sheet, whether they are present or not, that marking. And based on the present or mark, you can actually populate this set members, and you can populate the set absentees as well. And based on that, the meeting minutes will change. So this is going to, of course, reduce a lot of time. When you have a continuous meetings running in your department or something, probably this would be an easy way to go with it. Yeah, I think I am done for the session. If you have any queries or related to this, or if you want to look at anything else, what we can do it, and you can ask it right now. Thank you for that patient listening. Any questions? Yeah, when to use the is the wherever you want the value to be fetched, then you have to use the slash the. That's the important thing. I'm sure that the session was actually a little high level show. Actually, this topic of style file and the class files, everything is a little tricky to explain. That's the problem. But otherwise, I think I made myself much clear about the if statements and the other things where you have to use actually style file, I guess. If any questions, please ask it. My video is on or no? No. Yeah. Please. Yeah, I will share the sec files, please. I will do that. In the Telegram as well, I will do. I will share in both.
Participants, any queries, you can post it. Yeah, I pasted the second one. Check it up. Attendance link for session. Michael.
So the project one files, all the tech files I have uploaded in the chat box. You can check it out. And I'll also update it in the
Session form 4 is closed.
Yeah.
We will check it up. One minute, we are checking up. Wait for some time. We are rectifying the mistakes. Wait.
Oh, sorry. Actually, we forgot to give you unmute option for you. Yeah. Any queries, please ask.
Wait for 2 or 3 minutes. The form will be open.
The link will work in 2 to 3 minutes, faculties. Just hold on for a minute. The forms actually is getting activated. In fact, we have to give the link acceptance, meaning accept responses to be on. So that will be given in a minute. So it will take some time, maybe probably 2 to 3 minutes or something. After that, you refresh the form, it should be available to you. Don't worry.
Sir, some problem in attendance link?
Yes, sir. Actually, the form is not opened yet. The form will be opened in a minute.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
1 minute.
What is the form is opening now?
Yeah, any doubt was there? Somebody was trying to ask something.
Yeah, no issues. I think now the form is working. Check it up. Participant, please check it out whether the form is working or not. Yeah, somebody asked a good question. LATEX is used for document preparation. Why the programming, like if, etc.
Yeah, actually, LATEX is mainly for as one of you have mentioned, the document interpretation. But it's not just limited to that. That's what my argument is. All that it expects is, let's say, suppose as the previous session Dr. Manivan has covered, that even if you have some hundreds and 200s of people, and how do you bring them into a table? Or with the help of that, how do you actually put some information inside the document? So that's what's the requirement which has been given. So we bring so many programming aspects in it. So the basic level programmings are something called if and other stuff. So that's the, and you can think it of like probably an advanced level of document preparation, kind of. And that will, I think, probably justify that the if and for loops are required when you want to do something. That's it. It's all actually is up to the requirement. So we need it and we bring it inside. That's it. What are the formats available? The saved documents. Actually, right now, currently, PDF is available with the standard format, which you run it in PDF later. Of course, you can save it as a PostScript file as well, that PS file, .ps file, which will be used as a image file. We can also save it as a .dvi file, which will also be a very, very small in size. So if your document is around 10 MB, I'm sure that the DVI file will not take more than 2 MB. So it's a very compressed format file. And that in that format also, you can export. Meaning while after compilation, that output also you can take it. Obviously, when you have an image magic, you can literally convert the document into any format that you wanted. So it's okay. Instead of advance and slash by, shall we use plus sign? No, I don't think so. Because the plus symbol has a different meaning in, as you said, it's just a documentation process, right? So the plus symbol has a different meaning. So you can't do that plus. In fact, the plus has been taken as just the right text. So to overcome that plus, we have the advance, we have the increase, all of them. This is small comments are available. The attendance link is already posted, I guess.
Sir, I think the farm session 3 link is not working. Session 4, I think. Hope it's working.
Yeah.
It's working now.
So,
Okay.
sir, then sir, they are asking about session 3.
Session 3, how it will work now? Session 3 is already over. No, morning itself.
Yeah,
Okay,
session
okay,
4 is working. Somebody has confirmed. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Nandini, ma'am.
So any other queries, participants? So you can post. David Raj Michael is an expert in that.
It's a nice session, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No queries? Yeah, in each and every session, we are telling that we will share all the details after the workshop is over. Because now we are busy with, we are all busy with that.
And the
Because
code has
since-
already been also shared in the chat box right now at this moment. And anyway, I will also make it as a zip file and place it in the Teams. As sir has also mentioned, we'll collect all the materials and share it to you at the end of the workshop as well.
Because since we are also resource person, we need to prepare PPTs and all that, right?
Yeah.
So we need some time. So after the workshop is over, we will post it in the drive. We will send the drive link so that you can go and download it. This is not session 3, this is session 4. Please click the session 4 feedback. Okay, any other queries, participants? Any other queries? I hope so. There is no queries. If there is no queries on behalf of Dr. Parthiban and me, I thank Dr. David Raj Michael for sharing his expertise with us. I already told that he is an expert in most of the softwares, right? Okay, so because he joined last year itself in VIT Chennai. Before that, Parthiban was man of tools. Now Parthiban became man of tools of 75%, and this fellow is about 90%. Okay, so he thinks like a programmer, computer programmer. I don't know how his brain works, right? So as a mathematician, he is also a good mathematician. Okay, and he is also a computer programmer. So it helps him a lot. And also it helps him, us also. Those who are with him know, we are all benefiting by his programming skills. So thank you very much, David sir, and I hope a lot of calls are waiting for you.
Thank you, sir.
In your future, right? All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, participant, if there is no queries, I'm going to end this meeting. So tomorrow's meeting we will start by 10 o'clock and it will be handled by me. Okay, so I'm going to handle PGF plots. So again, afternoon session will be handled by Dr. David Raj Michael. So hope we will meet tomorrow and take care. Thank you, David.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, Karpagoli ma'am, do you want anything to ask? You just put it in the chat box, ma'am.